The Miami Dolphins just blew up their entire roster by trading away Jaylen Waddle in an absolute blockbuster move that has the whole league completely shaken to its core. But while everyone else is staring at Denver, our front office has a golden opportunity sitting right in front of them. It is time to strike while the iron is hot and bring the most explosive running back in football straight to the Windy City. Before we break down exactly how this massive highway robbery goes down, do me a huge favor and smash that like button, share this video with your fellow fans, and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss an update. The news dropping today is nothing short of pure madness. Jaylen Waddle is officially a Denver Bronco. Miami shipped him off for a first-round pick and a third-round pick, while swapping fourth-rounders to sweeten the pot. When you look at the math, Denver just made an aggressive, all-in push. But what does this mean for Miami? It means they have completely surrendered. They are tearing it down to the studs. They are waving the white flag and committing to a full-blown, undeniable rebuild. And whenever a team enters fire sale mode, smart franchises swoop in to pick the meat off the bones. So I have to ask you guys, are we seriously going to sit on our hands and watch while an elite, game-changing offensive weapon begs to be rescued from a sinking ship? My immediate, gut reaction to the Waddle trade was simple. Get on the phone right now, and bring me Devon Achane. Yes, we are talking about the ultimate lightning bolt out of the backfield. I know the Dolphins might hesitate. He is only 24 years old. He does not even turn 25 until October. You would think a rebuilding team would want to keep a young superstar to build around. But here is the catch. He is eligible for a massive contract extension very soon, and he is going to want top-tier money. Miami is already absorbing a catastrophic amount of dead cap space. They might not want to pay a running back big money while completely resetting their roster. If the offer is right, I genuinely believe they would put him on the next flight out of Florida. And let me tell you, I am an absolute fanatic when it comes to Devon Achane's game. I believe he is a fringe top 5 running back in this entire league. Once you get past the absolute elite of the elite, he is standing right there at the front of the line. Just think about what he accomplished last year. He was running behind an offensive line in Miami that was, quite frankly, below average. They were terrible at opening up lanes. On top of that, their passing attack completely lost its ability to threaten defenses vertically down the field. Opposing defenses were stacking the box, daring them to run, and Devon Achane still tore them to absolute shreds. He is incredibly explosive on the ground, and he catches the ball with the smooth hands of a wide receiver. Look at the philosophy that elite offensive minds like Ben Johnson are always preaching. What is the one word they constantly obsess over? Explosives. They hunt for explosive plays. They build their entire scheme around generating 10-plus yard runs and 20-plus yard passes. Achane is a walking, talking explosive play. He is a home run hitter in both the rushing attack and the passing game. Now, do not get me wrong. We had one of the more explosive offenses in the NFL last year, but we left way too much meat on the bone when it came to breaking off massive chunk plays in the running game. Let us just put the cards on the table and compare Devon Achane to the guys currently sitting in our running back room. When you look at the raw analytics from last season, the difference is staggering. Achane posted an overall grade of 89.2. DeAndre Swift was solid, coming in at an 81. And the rookie, Kyle Manengai, sat at a 67, largely because his receiving grades were near the very bottom of the entire league. If we break it down specifically to rushing, Achane earned a dominant 91. Swift was at an 86, and Manengai was at a 75. But in the receiving game, Achane graded out at a phenomenal 75, Swift dropped to a 61, and Manengai plummeted to a 40. Across those three major categories, Devon Achane was literally the highest graded overall running back in the entire National Football League. He was ranked number 1 strictly as a rusher, and top 10 as a pass catcher out of the backfield. That is absolutely terrifying for opposing defenses. Look at rushing yards over expectation. This stat isolates exactly what the running back creates on his own after the offensive line does its job. Achane averaged an astonishing 1.03 yards over expectation per carry. That is elite territory. Swift was sitting at a respectable 0.58. Manengai was down at 0.29, though to be fair, he was primarily used as our thunder back in gritty, short yardage situations. The gap between Achane and our current guys is a massive leap. And going back to that hunt for explosive plays, the numbers get even more ridiculous. Last season alone, Devon Achane hit 20-plus yard runs 13 times. DeAndre Swift only managed to do it 5 times. Manengai did it 3 times. What about 40-plus yard game breakers? Achane hit 4 of them. Swift hit 0. Manengai hit 0. This is exactly where the frustration sets in for me as a fan. How many times did we watch a game last year where DeAndre Swift bounced it to the outside, we all jumped out of our seats screaming because it looked like he was gone, and then he gets tripped up by a shoestring tackle? It happened easily 5 or 10 times. Swift is a good back, but he is not a special, field-flipping superstar. Which actually brings me to a crazy piece of trivia. Does anybody remember what DeAndre Swift's longest run of the entire season was last year? It was a measly 25 yards. That is shocking for a guy whose entire reputation is built on being a home run hitter. Sure, he had that ridiculous 55-yard catch and run against Washington, but strictly handing the ball off. Just 25 yards. Devon Achane takes those exact same plays, sheds that arm tackle, and takes it 50 yards to the house. Here is my official question of the day, and I need every single one of you to jump into the comments right now and give me your raw, unfiltered opinion. Should we pull the trigger and trade a premium draft pick for Devon Achane? Type Y for yes or N for no down below. Let your voice be heard because this debate could define our entire season. How do we actually get this done? Let us throw some realistic trade scenarios out there. What if we offer our second-round pick, 57 overall, and package it with DeAndre Swift? Honestly, we might not even need to include Swift in the deal. We could trade him elsewhere for a late day 3 pick, maybe a 5th or a 6th rounder, because there are absolutely teams out there desperate for a guy who just put up 1,300 purpose yards. Swift could easily be Miami's primary back to get them through this brutal rebuild. But here is the trade package I really love. We send Miami our 4th round pick this year, 129 overall, plus a 2nd round pick next year. Why a future pick? Because the Dolphins are already drowning in draft capital right now. After the Waddle trade, they have an absurd 11 draft picks this year, including 7 in the top 95. They might actually prefer to push the asset to next year. Why? Because if their quarterback experiment with Malik Willis completely blows up in their face, they are going to need a mountain of draft capital in 2027 to move up and draft a franchise quarterback. We give them exactly what they need for the future, and we take their most dangerous weapon right now. Plus, do not forget the incredible connection we have in the building. Our running backs coach, Eric Studsville, coached Devon Achane in Miami. You know for a fact Studsville is pounding the table in the front office begging them to go get his guy. Achane would seamlessly plug right into this system. Now, I can already hear the screaming through the screen. But what about the defense? We need to draft defenders. We can't trade our picks. Look, I hear your frustration. But take a deep breath. Even if we trade pick 57, we still hold pick 25, pick 60, and pick 89. We still have the ammunition to draft elite defensive talent. We can still sign veterans in free agency. But more importantly, people completely ignore how a dominant running game helps the defense. If you have a running back who can sustain drives and consistently put points on the board, your defense gets to rest on the sideline. They play with a lead. They get to pin their ears back and rush the passer. Just remember what Caleb Williams said on that podcast recently. He said the goal is to be the best, highest scoring offense in the history of the league, aiming for 38 points a game. Now, 38 is a fantasy, but we averaged almost 26 points per game last year. If Caleb Williams takes that natural next step forward in his progression, and we add an absolute freak show like Devon Achane to the backfield, averaging 30 points a game is completely realistic. 30 points a game is exactly what the Rams averaged when they led the entire NFL in scoring. If we hit that magic number of 30, we become completely unstoppable. You win almost every single football game when you put up 30 points. We have a window right now to be the most feared offense in the National Football League. If Miami has the for sale sign hanging in the front yard, we need to be the first ones knocking on the door. Let me know if I am an absolute genius or a complete idiot down in the comments section. We can debate it all day, but you cannot deny the excitement. Stay passionate, keep your eyes on the wire, and I will see you guys next time.